Okay. You guys all warmed up?
Yeah.
All right. Today we're closing our series. This has been a series about fine-tuning the building blocks of our awarenesses. We've been remembering some simple principles, remembering how to use them, and remembering how they will then move to create our worlds. So, I know you've been doing well with this. Of you. I want to start out with a story from the Aquarian, just to set the tone for us. The Pharisees were always giving Jesus a hard time. And at this point, John the Baptist was killed, and John's disciples were fasting. And the Pharisees said to Jesus, what's up with your people? How come you guys aren't fasting? And isn't that what you should be doing since a beloved leader has died? And Jesus was kind to them, but he tries to explain the laws. He says, the conscience may be taught. Man may do in conscience what another man cannot do. What is sin for me to do may not be sin for you to do. The place you occupy upon the way of life determines what is right. There is no changeless law of good. For good and evil both are judged by other things. One man may fast and in his deep sincerity of heart be blessed. Another man may fast and in such a faithlessness of such a task that has been imposed is then cursed. You cannot make a bed to fit the form of every man. If you can make a bed to fit yourself, you have done well. If you can make a bed to fit yourself, you have done well. And what does that tell us? Part of our job on this planet is to create. Part of our job is to make a space for ourselves where we can be, where we can have our experiences. And his message, although it's correcting the mindset of the Pharisees, actually opens the door for us to realize, my bed will not fit you. Your bed may not fit me. And even though we share many concepts the same and many belief systems the same, we are still unique. And our job on the planet is to create a space where we can express. Take a breath. Jesus taught that the Father was within. He taught that the Father was love. The Father was spirit, creator. And all that you need will come from God. He taught the Father was within. The Father is love. The Father is creator. And you are a child of God. If you are a child of God, what does that make you? Creator, love. All those attributes. And the Father will give you everything you need. What do you need? You're supposed to have needs, aren't you? You're supposed to express desires, aren't you? You're supposed to create. Breathe. On chapter 137, again, he is being asked, this time by some of his people, how to pray. And he gives them what we would call the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, holy is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is done in heaven. Give us this day our needed bread, and help us to forgive the debts that other people owe to us, that all our debts may be discharged. And shield us from the tempter's snare that are too great for us to bear. And this is what that means. Ready? I love you, God. Let me walk in your consciousness. Bring me what I need. Forgive my past and help me forgive others. And give me the strength to hold focus. That's what that means. Let me say it again. I love you, God. Let me walk in your consciousness. Bring me what I need. Help me forgive my past. Help me forgive those around me. And give me the strength to maintain my focus. Isn't that a fruitful prayer? about creating a space for you to express on this planet. A very fruitful prayer. He goes on to say, the answer to your prayer may not appear in the fullness in a little time, but be not discouraged. Pray again and again, for God will hear. Ask, ask. You may not be able to receive yet because you have not yet created the space in your consciousness to receive. But if you continue to hold the focus, that space will be created. You are moving toward what you have asked to receive. Behold, I say to you, ask firmly, and you shall receive. Seek trustingly, and you shall find. Knock earnestly, and the door will open. All things are yours, and when you ask, not as a begging man, but as a child, you shall be satisfied. Ask for anything. Ask because you desire. Ask, and you will receive. Ask because you desire. God is the energy of all your needs. Ask. Then he says, a son may ask his father for a loaf of bread, and the father will not give him a stone. Yes? Everybody agree? You wouldn't do that to your child. He may ask for a fish, and he will not give him a crab. Behold, if men of flesh know how to give abundantly to the children of flesh, will not your heavenly Father give abundantly to you when you pray? Ask. Asking is a part of our job. Are you getting it? Are you hearing me? Asking is a part of our job. Do you know, when I work with people, how many people do not know how to pray? The correct answer is a whole lot. I have a thing that I started last year, which God asked me to do, when I counsel with people, when I'm counseling with them. As we close our prayer, I'll pray with them in the beginning. But as we close our prayer, I look at them and say, I will begin and you will end. And so many of them go, I don't know what to say. And I say, that's okay. And I begin the prayer. And when I say, now it's your turn, and they say, I don't know what to say, I say, well, you could thank God. Thank you, God. You could ask God for guidance. Okay, God. After the third or fourth session with these clients who walk in such trepidation, they are calling it forth. They are saying, God, help me with my homework. Help me move these energies. And they are calling it forth. Talking to God is just like talking to anyone. You think God isn't with you every moment of every day anyway? You think God doesn't hear every thought you have, every word that comes out of your mouth? But to turn our focus, to look at that God Creator face to face, asking comes through prayer, which is why you don't ask. The prayer that you will utter always is, oh God, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. That's the prayer you utter when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and there's no wiggle room. But other than that, do we really open to ask? Ask for what you want. Help me, forgive me, help me manifest, God. Help me, move me where I need to be. I want to take us now to another chapter in the Aquarian. This is chapter 153. This story is hard to understand, especially as a little girl when I heard it the first time from the Baptist perspective. I couldn't get it in my little heart because I was so sweet. But the day is Tuesday, and it's the last day of his walk on the planet. So the rubber's meeting the road here. And if I don't get your attention now, I am never going to get your attention, is what he's doing to these boys. And if you'll read in the Aquarian, his last week on the planet, he is like, there's no room for patience. I need you to listen. Here's the lesson. Pay attention to me. Everybody with me? Tuesday. Friday, he goes to Gethsemane. So we're at Tuesday here. It's early in the day, and they are on their way to Jerusalem. The 12, they would sleep outside Jerusalem and walk in. They observed a tree to which the Lord had talked to the day before. On their way before, Jesus had looked at the tree and said, look at this worthless tree. It's not bearing fruit. And it was in season, it should have been bearing fruit. And so he said, go back to the earth, you tree, because you're not doing what you need to do. Well, today, Tuesday, they're walking by, and guess what happened to the tree? I'm going to tell you. Okay, they see the tree. And the leaves were withered just as if it had been scorched with fire. And Peter said, Lord, see the tree? The leaves are withered and the tree seems dead. Concerned, baby heart, little girl, that's where I was. Oh God, we just killed a tree. Jesus said, so it shall be with those who bear no fruit. When God shall call them up to give account, lo, he will breathe upon them their leaves, and their empty words will wither and decay. God will not let the fruitless tree of life encumber the ground. Now that's hard to hear, isn't it? God will breathe upon the fruitless thoughts and it will blow away. And they asked me to remind us of a story I read several years ago, and I shared it with you all. It was a story of a little girl. She was 23, young lady. She was 23. She had a near-death experience. In her account, she crossed over. And there was this light, this immense love, and this presence that she identified as God in her mind. This is God to her. And so, probably was. I'm not saying it wasn't. But she felt this energy speak to her. And it said to her, what have you done with your life? And she said she started thinking. And she started thinking about all the things she'd done. And as she thought of every thought, it was empty. It was empty. It was empty. And she knew it was not going to hold any weight in this moment. And she kept saying things, and they were empty. Just like the withered leaves. And she finally came to a moment in this space of intense energy. And she said to God, I loved my daughter. And when she said, I love my daughter, she felt the oneness. And the energy of love moved from her to this God that she was speaking to. And she knew that was good, that she had done something of value. She was sent back to the earth. And she wrote in her little memoir, love is all there is. But when I go back, I will have my list ready. I will be able to tell my God all the things I have done that are wonderful and valuable. She came back with such a renewed heart to take her life, to make her life bigger, to make her life better. Do you see? Sometimes it's good for us to have the wind blow upon our withered leaves and let them go, so that new fruit can come through. You see, it's not. It is necessary. It is necessary for us to focus on what serves us instead of always carrying around things that detract us. So, then he says, same discussion. Now, you can demonstrate the power of God. Have faith in God, and you can bid the mountains to depart, and they will crumble at your feet. Whoa, how powerful is that? What if that's just an idiom? What if that's just an idiom that means, have faith in God, and the obstacles before you will crumble at your feet? Is that not so powerful? And what are those obstacles keeping you from? Your dreams. Your dreams. Then he says, and you may talk to the wind and the wave, and they will hear you and obey what you command. Now, had he literally done that? We don't have accounts of him literally moving mountains. He might have. I'm sure he could have. But he's literally stopped the waves. He's literally commanded the winds. How many of you have done that? A lot of us have. Many of us have. We have redirected hurricanes. We have held the rain for a certain amount of time. We have cooperated with Spirit. Not out of power, but out of desire. Do you see the immense capabilities that you have? They are immense. He is expecting us to be great. He is expecting us to be great. We're supposed to be asking. We're supposed to be creating. And we're supposed to be cooperating. Everybody take a breath. If you ask, God will supply. You got that? Do you realize you might not have been asking? I wanted to share this with you. Again, I was reminded of this beautiful quote. This is out of a book written by a man named William Hutchinson Murray. He was a mountain climber. And I'm not sure if he was Scottish or not, but his book is called The Scottish Himalayan Expedition. So this was before World War II. He was climbing. He actually spent time during the war in a prison camp. And this is out of his book that was published in 1951. They say that he wrote his book on toilet paper in the prison camp, and the Gestapo took it and destroyed it. And he then immediately turned around and started writing it again. And the other prisoners were shocked. But that one made it out. He's talking about making the decision to do the mountain climbing. And he said, we had put down our passage money, booked a sailing to Bombay. This may sound too simple, but it is great in consequence. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, and always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. The moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents, meetings, and material assistance, which no man could have dreamt would come his way. I learned a deep respect for one of Goethe's couplets. Whatever you can do or dream, you can begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. The decision, the moment that you commit 100%, it sets up what I like to think of as a clarion call. Y'all heard that term? A clarion call. A call that goes out into the universe. And clarion means, from the dictionary, it's a direct request for people to take action. It is strong and clear request for people to do something. A clarion call. Do you know how many times when I read people, I say to them, if you make this choice, this job will open up here. And they go, huh? That job's going to open up anyway. No, it's not. It's not. It will be created for you because of this decision you make. They don't need you now because you don't want to go there. The minute you make this decision, this pathway will open up for you. The universe will begin to respond. Providence moves. Frequently this occurs. Your decision creates the chain of events that supports you. I remember when I was changing my career, you all have heard this stories many times, I had quit my job. I was going to school to study my healing work and to become a minister. I was working 3 days a week in accounting to pay for everything, to pay for the mortgage, pay for my schooling. And I was doing it. And I'd always had people hire me for little extra accounting jobs to make extra money. That was just part of my thing. That's what I did. I always made money. And I was needing some money. And I was working, and I was approached by several people within a week, all of them saying to me, listen, would you help me with my portfolio? I'll hire you, you do this. Can you help me with this part of my accounting issues? I'll hire you, you do this. Help me look at some investments. I'll hire you, you do this. And I'm going, wow, look at all the money coming to me. And I got clear. Prior to this moment, every decision I had made was internal. I'm going to do it, but I have no idea what's going to happen. I am going to school. I have no idea what's going to happen. Do you hear what I'm saying? I got clear. And I remember the moment when I looked at the man that had offered me this job, the first one. And I looked him in the face and I said, do you need to know? I want to tell you. I'm going to school to become a minister. I'm leaving all this behind. And it was the first time I declared to the world, I'm going to be a minister. I don't know what it's going to look like. But I'm already doing the work to do it, and I'm owning it today. My call went out into the universe. That was my clarion call. And you know who heard my call? Patrick. It was 1988. I wouldn't meet him for 2 more years. His soul woke up. And his spirit said, okay, she's on the move. We got to get ready. Seriously. And so many other people got into place. It's happening. She's finally going to do it. Let's go. And across the universe, things started shaking and people started waking and everybody started coming where they needed to be. Because they had agreed that if I woke up, they'd be there for me. If I took that stand, they'd be there for me. And they were. That call, when you stand up and you own your greatness, that call, even when you don't even know how great you are, but you're claiming it, it moves everything to meet you. People, situations, opportunities, they all now rise. Why? Because you have now asked. What did I ask before? Oh, just get me through school, God. Give me enough money to pay the mortgage. Honey, I asked that a lot. You know, we need food, God. Okay, we need this. David needs some new clothes. He's growing too fast. You know? I was asking, and I was receiving. But I had not asked the greatness. Do you see? Can you feel it? And that was my then. What about my now? How much greater can I be? How much greater can you be? What other decisions and claiming can we set into motion for the next phase of our lives? I hope you can feel that in your heart. I hope you can feel that. So, everything moves when you choose. Everything moves when you choose. Who are you? Really, who are you? You're complicated. You're a bunch of stuff. But what do you want to be? What does the desire heart within you, where does that want to take you? How do you want to see yourself? If God is good and God is great, then you are great. And you are good. Everybody will come to meet you when you declare it. Everyone who is going to play with you will get in place. Because you choose. Owning your own greatness is so important. And you know how we can hold that when we bless our brother's greatness. Do you realize when you belittle anyone or belittle yourself, you are diminishing your capacities. You are diminishing your goodness. What if we celebrate everyone's greatness? Would that not support our own? Okay. And then, when we choose and celebrate all of life, we hold the builder's heart that Patrick taught us about last week. The builder's heart that holds the focus. I am a minister. Don't you know that little girl? I was 30-something that day. 32 maybe. Don't you know that little girl went home and went, okay. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. But I never forgot my decision, and I stood on that. I am a minister. At that time, I would have said I am a minister. I don't know if I'm a good, bad, or indifferent minister, but I am a minister now. You see? We grow into receiving what we have asked. But it starts with that total commitment. Committing to our dream, involving God's support in that commitment to our dream, moves mountains. Y'all hearing it? Okay. All right, let's take a moment. Put our feet on the floor. I would just invite each of you just to feel that beautiful light of God's love just engulfing you. And in it feel the strength of God. That almost tactile energy of love surrounding you. And as you feel it, realize these are building blocks of the ethers waiting for you to mold them. Waiting for you to mold them. And now allow your focus just to go to your heart. And I want you to feel your heart. With all these words coming at you this morning, there could be some churning, there could be some opening, there could be any number of emotions or thoughts in that heart center. But let's go back to the prayer. I want you to look through that heart to the center core and just say, God, I love you. And in your world, your consciousness and your will for me, I know all of my dreams are manifest. And as you feel that in your heart center, take a moment to look. You may or may not see anything. But let's first, I give myself permission to see that which my heart desires. And if it's just an energy or a color or a feeling, just sit with it for a moment. I give myself permission to see that which my heart desires. And as the heart just expresses, just accept. And some of you in this moment may be touching on the energy of the dream you would like to call forth. I want you in your mind's eye just to touch the energy of the dream you would like to call forth. And it doesn't have to be your clarion call, but it can be. Perhaps just in this moment you want to become aware of it. Perhaps in this moment you want to send it to the universe. But just touch it at least. Breathe and feel. I accept my greatness. Feel those words. Let those words move through your heart. I accept my greatness. And I can begin with that. As I accept my greatness, my dreams will reveal themselves. My dreams will manifest and I will claim them. But I can begin with accepting my greatness now. Father, Mother God, we know that we are your beloved children. We know that the essence of supply and support is all around us. And we love you with that unspeakable love. We love you, God. We are your children. And I ask, Father, that peace now rest on every heart. That they be inspired and expanded, that they rest in peace now. Knowing that you are their partner and they will find their ready moment. And I thank you for this. Breathe. Feel that beautiful love of the universe surrounding you. Feel the peace. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Well, I hope you feel expanded. Open. And if nothing else, curious. Be curious about who you are and what your next step is. And say, yay, God.
Yeah.